When I had a PS2, one of my favorite games to play was Battlefront 2. I was a huge Star Wars fan, and being able to play in iconic locations was just the best. Well, this video isn't about that game, it's about its disfigured older stepbrother. I think everyone knows that there was supposed to be a Battlefront 3 before Star Wars was sold to Disney. This revelation came after the EA Battlefront had disappointed so many and made people ask, what if? It didn't help that the studio developing Battlefront 3 somehow had their pre-alpha footage leak where you could see the beginnings of an amazing game that would have come out around 2015. Then, a flicker of hope emerged. A company popped up called Frontwire Studios. They got their hands on the source code and materials and vowed to breathe life into the forgotten project. They renamed it Galaxy in Turmoil, and everything was looking up until Lucasfilm informed the studio that they would not be able to continue on. It basically came down to Frontwire not being able to use Star Wars assets illegally, which makes a ton of sense. They desperately tried to make a deal with EA, but that didn't pan out. So the team decided that the game would take place in its own original universe, something brand new that would still have 64-player battles and be free to play without microtransactions. This all took place in 2016. It was only until the December of 2019 they finally showed off the game, along with a request. Please fund our Kickstarter. The asking price? $500,000. Instead of putting your money on the line with nothing to believe in, they released a demo on the same day. But before we get into the gameplay, let's go over what's here. There are supposed to be a couple of different modes that allow for space battles and ground combat. There are 4 separate classes, which all have different loadouts and abilities. So this is the next big thing, right? Move over the corpses of Atlas Reactor and Loadout and let this new free-to-play game storm the market. So 3 years of development, the base code for a great game, how bad could this be? Very. First off, let's look at the player count. I expect there to be less people playing now that the Kickstarter has failed, but there was so much interest 3 years ago. Well, it's already a corpse. But maybe they had a huge launch, the numbers must be great. When the Kickstarter went live, nope. Literally after a day, it was dead. I know, let's kickstart this thing and try out the demo. Ooh, look at this main menu. Let's try and get in a game. Ah, cool, it isn't working. Oh my god, just let me play. Let's see, what happens if I host one? I'll just choose this random one, I don't know. I know I'm the only one playing right now, so I guess I'll just walk around and look at stuff.
For all the lives in the galaxy, it's time for us to shine!
Whoa, there were bots! That's some fancy technology right there. Even Fallout 76 doesn't have NPCs. So as you can see, I played for a bit, shooting at enemy bots while trying out the different classes. My favorite weapon was a tie between the grenade launcher that did huge amounts of damage and the gun that had no sound effects when you fired or reloaded it. It was super hard to tell who was on your team and who was an enemy because everyone was mostly wearing dark gray with very little to distinguish themselves. The hit detection was god-awful and it felt like I was missing shots more than I landed them. I guess it was interesting to have multiple different classes, but it almost didn't matter in Team Deathmatch since the abilities didn't do much. It was when I got to play the space combat that I finally understood the dumpster fire that was this project. It made no sense for there to be different classes to choose from since all you did was get in identical ships to pilot. Then, the only thing you could do was shoot at this weird-looking, and I would go as far to say poorly modeled, space station. There were just so many icons littering the screen, and it would be an absolute chore to destroy all of them. In the old Battlefront games, you could go inside the enemy's hangar, sneak into their ship, and destroy important items. This does not have that function, as you are relegated to flying around in fake space and shooting at sticks. It's been years since this project was important to public interest. In those years, we've had another EA Star Wars game which started conversations about legislation against loot boxes, the most downvoted Reddit comment in history, and even the revitalization of that very game, where it is actually quite good now. We don't need Galaxy in Turmoil anymore. Your death will be witnessed by less than 50 people. It's like the universe hates me or something. So the Frontwire team took down the demo and are going to re-release it under early access because, and I quote, "Our Kickstarter failed because people didn't know about our project." They also divulged that 2,000 people downloaded the demo and they said a game couldn't survive off of that. This is a hilarious point due to the free-to-play shooter Dirty Bomb having an average concurrent player base of around 300 people, and it's doing just fine. When the devs talk, it sounds like they're stuck in 2016. All the good things happened years ago and everyone else forgot about it. With only one full-time programmer and one 3D artist, there is no way this is going to be possible. So to the 150,000 people that have Galaxy and Turmoil on their Steam wishlist, get ready for them to send you push notifications for a garbage game.